Guys, how we doing today? Everyone good? Weather in England, man, looking good. Sun's out, so can't complain. But yeah, um, Manchester United, obviously, bit of news in terms of transfers. Yeah, Angel Gomes. Angel Gomes, obviously a player that I rate very highly. When United, when he left United, should I say, I think on a free transfer. It was a bit of a it was annoying that he left, to be fair, because the same old shit you hear, about his height, he can't play in that midfield, and I think United at a time as well were going through a spell where again they were struggling, and someone like Gomez wasn't going to be given the license to play in that midfield area. So I think when obviously he was under Solskjaer was trying to play him as an attacking midfielder from the left, and obviously Angel Gomes is a number 10, or obviously now can play as a deep line or even a holding midfielder, such as his quality on the ball. But there's obviously been reports that West Ham have had a contract offer rejected of 100 grand a week, which again, Angel Gomez's quality, no disrespect to West Ham, but he's better than West Ham. He should be playing for me, definitely one of the top clubs in the country. But for me, he needs to be coming back home to United, and for me, yeah. So yeah, for me, he should be coming back home to United, and yeah, I think on a free transfer to add onto what the business that we hope that United would do, it's going to be a good bit of business in my opinion. Big up Reluctant Gamer, big up bro for coming on. Just talking about Man United's transfer news. So obviously there's been talk about Angel Gomes. What do you think of Angel Gomes? Do you think Angel Gomes will be a good signing? For me, I think on a free transfer, and someone like Gomes as well, he's gonna have a lot of teams after him as well. So I believe that if Man United can try and get that over the line, which I think there will be other teams abroad that will be in for him. If United can try and get that over the line, then that will be a great signing in the summer. So Angel Gomes used to be at Man United in Man United's youth team. Obviously, captained the England under-17s team to the World Cup as well, which that team had the likes of Phil Foden in there, Morgan Gibbs-White, Hudson-Odoi, Sancho, Mark Guehi. I think Ryan Brewster was in there as well. Conor Gallagher, I believe, was in there as well. So yeah, Angel Gomes, man, he was a top player, and again, Angel Gomes was the youngest ever player. I think he broke. Did he break record? Yeah, I think he broke Rooney's record in the Premier League. Obviously, since then it's been broken. I think the youngest player to play in the Prem is Ethan Nwaneri now, but yeah, Angel Gomes broke Wayne Rooney's record, and then obviously from the following season, I believe that's when he moved on. So Angel Gomes plays for Lille now, but he's going to be leaving them on a free transfer. Lille in France, and obviously there's been links to him coming back to United, which again I hope happens. I think he's a quality player, man, and he's definitely someone that United need in the midfield. And Man United need players in that midfield that can control games. For too long, United have had players in that midfield, that are high energy players, but they haven't really had a player that can put their foot on the ball. I believe since the likes of obviously I was about to say Paul Pogba, but again, yeah, in terms of a deep line playmaker, you would say Michael Carrick. But since Carrick or Pogba, United haven't had a midfield that can put their foot on the ball and dictate and control games. And someone like Angel Gomes, in a different way, yeah, he can. For me, he can be that sort of player. Obviously, he's more adept at going forward, more of an attacking midfielder. But I think him adding a bit of quality in that midfield, is something that Man United need to be looking at for sure. Just reading some of the comments. So why is Lil not extending his contract? I think if Lil had the opportunity to extend his contract, then I think Lil would. But I think Gomes has probably made it clear to them that he wants to move on. I think he's been there for about 2-3 seasons now, I'd say, because he come there obviously from United. I think he went. I think Gomes went to Boa Vista in Portugal, and then went to Lille from there. Obviously playing with the likes of Jonathan David in there as well. But yeah, no, I think he's someone that for me I'd love to see him back at United for sure, man. I think he'd be a good addition. And I think that midfield area does need revamping, because I think if you look at the players that are going to be moved on, I think Casemiro, again, is someone that, with his wage, is likely to be moved on. Christian Eriksen, again, he's going to be leaving on a free. Who else has got in there? So it leaves you really with Bruno and Ugarte. And again, two players that I don't think are good enough anyway for where Man United want to go to. But they're two players that are going to be the next season. So bringing in an Angel Gomes, and for me, a definite another midfielder. Obviously, there's been links to Ederson, which Ederson of Atalanta, which would be a good sign as well. So having Ederson and Angel Gomes in that midfield to go with what United got already. You've got Sekou Kone, obviously the young gun as well that hasn't played yet. Obviously Toby Collier as well. I wouldn't be. It's not for me. It's not what United. It's not what United, aspirations in my sense that United should be having as a squad of central midfielders, but it's a start. You know what I mean? And obviously Gomez being on a free transfer would be good. So yeah, that'd be an important signing for me in the summer for definite. And hopefully United do firm up their interest. And again, Gomez obviously wants to come back as well, so that'll be important. Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. I agree. United need a striker. Big up Victoria Rose. Is it Rosiansky? Yeah, big up for coming on, Victoria. Guys, make sure you smash that like button and make sure you subscribe to my channel at Gav Goes In. So yeah, I agree. United do need another striker, which is what I was going to get onto now. So it looks like at the moment, the front runners for United are Victor Osimhen and Jean-Philippe Mateta. I think there was links to Hugo Ekitike, obviously formerly of PSG as well. I mean, I wouldn't mind Ekitike, but I look at Ekitike and think, he's a bit similar to Chido, I would say. I think Chido can probably grow to be a little bit similar to him, I would say. But I think in terms of Mateta and Victor Osimhen, again, Victor Osimhen isn't someone that I necessarily would like United to sign. But I think in terms of what Amarim's probably looking at, because it looks like he's not going to be playing Joshua Zirkzee as a 9. But if another manager does come in and Amarim doesn't stay on, or he gets sacked, then you might look at Joshua Zirkzee being restored to a number 9 in a different system, which again I'm not too adverse to seeing that. But I think in terms of this system now, he's looking at someone obviously that's physically strong, that can run in behind as well. And both Victor Osimhen and Jean-Philippe Mateta both offer that, both good in the air as well. For me, Osimhen's 26, and Mateta, I believe, might be 27 or 28. Obviously Mateta's Premier League proven, but Osimhen, again, you can say he's European proven. Obviously scored goals at Lille, funny enough, and obviously at Napoli as well. So me personally, I wouldn't mind seeing a Mateta. I think Mateta, since what's his name? Since Glasner has come to the Premiership, I think Mateta might have the joint most goals in in the league, along with probably Salah, I think. Or he might even have one more. I'm not too sure, but that just shows the impact that Glasner's had on him, and it shows how well Mateta's doing as well. So I wouldn't mind Mateta, but if it is either Mateta or Osimhen, I think, again, I've been saying this before, but it shows you the kind of problem that there is in terms of strikers in world football now. I've mentioned it before, the likes of Harry Kane and Lewandowski, who are the two elite strikers. Both of them are the wrong age of 30. And then beyond that, you've got, obviously, Isak, who's going to cost 150 from Newcastle. Erling Haaland's not going to go anywhere. And that's just in the Premiership. And then I look around, I think there's no other strikers in the Premiership. I think Isak and Haaland are the only two, really, you would say, that are of either world-class potential or are regarded as the two of the best in the world. Then you look into Germany. Again, I've mentioned Kane. You got Serhu Guirassy, who's, again, I think he might be about 30, from Borussia Dortmund. There's no Benjamin Sesko, but I don't rate Sesko, from Leipzig. You've got Victor Boniface. Again, I think Boniface might be about 23, 24, but there's been no links as of late to Boniface. Patrick Schick, again. I think Patrick Schick might be mid-20s, I might say, or even like late 20s. But again, we're scraping the barrel, really, for strikers, because there ain't really none. And then you go to France, as I mentioned, PSG got Gonzalo Ramos, but he's not a regular, and I don't really want Gonzalo Ramos either. Then you've got, who else? You've got other strikers that not really too well known. And then again, so in Germany, not Germany, sorry, in Spain, Julian Alvarez, you can say, but just gone to Atletico. He ain't going anywhere. Who else we got there? Obviously, Lewandowski, I've mentioned already. Obviously, Real Madrid ain't got. Obviously, Mbappe plays through there. He ain't getting Mbappe, and he's not even a natural born striker anyway. So yeah, this is the problem with strikers in world football, which is why I wanted John Duran, because John Duran was 21 now, and he was a perfect age profile, Premier League as well. But this is the kind of difficulty that United find themselves in. So yeah, so St. Gamer, man. So who's your favourite English player of all time? That's tough, man. That's tough because what are we saying, this era, or that's quite a hard one, really, because I'll be honest with you, there ain't too many English players that I actually rate, if I'm honest. If we're talking about years gone by, the likes of John Barnes, Paul Gascoigne, I say Wayne Rooney, but I don't think Wayne Rooney was a top player for England. I think in terms of, like, I think he had one, which was the Euros, where obviously he played a part where he got sent off when he made his debut in the tournament. I think apart from that, really, that was Rooney's best performances. But generally in the England shirt, I don't think Rooney was as good as he was for United. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, you can say Rooney. Yeah, there ain't really too much. I mean, even if I look at the England team now, there ain't really no one that stands out for me that I would say this player is one of the best in the world. He's unplayable. There ain't. I think there are players, i.e. like a Grealish, that could have became that kind of player, but they weren't never going to be given the license to do anything, really. So yeah, I think Gascoigne, John Barnes, from the top of my head, I would say. But I can't really think of too many other players. Obviously Michael Owen had a stint, but Owen wasn't really my type of player that I like to watch. But he when he come on, he was devastating for Liverpool and for England. Yeah, I think Gascoigne and John Barnes, I could probably say top of my head. I mean, if you've got any other players that you think, then let me know. But from the top of my head, I'll say that. Man United needs 7 to 8 players. I agree. As I've mentioned probably before, the only players that I'm keeping from this Man United squad, which again isn't going to happen, But if I'm the only players that I really rate from this whole Man United squad are Lenny Yoro, Matthias De Ligt, Aiden Heaven. Now he's come on £1 million well spent. So he's one for the future for sure. And even for now, and it's good to see that his injury isn't as serious as it looked, should I say. So for me, Lenny Yoro, Matthias De Ligt, Aiden Heaven, Mazraoui, Amad Diallo, Joshua Zirkzee. Uh, and the likes of Collier, obviously they're younger players. But yeah, they're the only players that I think United should be going forward with. And again, it's not going to happen because that's like that's only like what 5 or 6 players I'm picking. But for me, yeah, Lenny Yoro, Matthias De Ligt, Aiden Heaven, Mazraoui, Amad Diallo, Joshua Zirkzee are the only players that if I'm Man United, if I'm Ineos, I'm moving forward with. Casemiro is a different one because if Casemiro was to take a wage cut, let's say, then there's more chance of him staying. But yeah, and obviously Casemiro as well. For me, in terms of the career that he's had, he has every right to be on that wage. He obviously isn't proving that wage at United consistently. But he's still a top player. So he's a bit of a different case. But yeah, Lenny Yoro, the Mazraoui, Aiden Heaven, Amad Diallo, Joshua Zirkzee are the only players that I feel United should be moving forward with. Everyone else is up for sale for me, or listening to offers. That's realistic for me, yeah. So Latin Gamer says, who's better, Shearer or Owen? In terms of what? Latin Gamer, what? In terms of a better player, better goal scorer? If we're comparing both players, they're not identical in terms of skill set. In terms of the better player, you'd probably have to say, I think as a better player, Alan Shearer is probably a better player. In terms of moments, you'd probably say Michael Owen in terms of had better moments in his career. Obviously, this is a guy that went to Real Madrid as well, with again, and again, Michael Owen for me wasn't a great player, but when he came onto the scene, he was devastating. Michael Owen was what Mbappe was when Mbappe come onto the scene. He was doing a similar sort of thing, with the pace, the goals, you know. If you remember Michael Owen's goal for England against Argentina in the World Cup, you know what I mean? He was on absolute smoke, Michael Owen, And again, Owen wasn't my type of player, but he had better moments. Obviously, Alan Shearer in terms of goal scoring was better. Obviously, he still holds the record to now. But yeah, no, I agree. Alan Shearer could have gone to a bigger club, but he wanted Newcastle. Yeah, I agree. And again, the era of football that Alan Shearer was playing in, he he was more of a battering ram kind of target man. I think if you look at today's game, Alan Shearer wouldn't probably excel in this era because the number 9 needs to be doing more than just getting a goal, you know. But then again, the kind of defenders he played up against, you know, you can say that the defenders back then were proper defenders, whereas now, a lot of the defenders now are more ball playing defenders, and with ball playing defenders, you don't necessarily get defenders that are just there for for being good defensively, really. You know, I think there's a few exceptions. If you look at someone like Virgil van Dijk, for instance, he's a ball player, but defensively he's very good as well. But I think if Alan Shearer was to play up against a Virgil van Dijk in this era, I think Shearer will cause Van Dijk problems purely because Alan Shearer would want to play up against Van Dijk. Whereas a lot of strikers now, they're not really, it's a different kind of era. They're not really looking to be playing up against a defender, you know. So it's a different kind of game. But Owen played for United and Liverpool. What team did he support? So Michael Owen come through Liverpool's youth system. Again, him going to Man United was a weird move, you know, because obviously the rivalry between United and Liverpool, and this is why Liverpool fans obviously hate Owen, you know. But yeah, when Owen first come on the scene, if anyone knows when obviously Owen made his debut, I think he made his debut at 18. He was devastating. He was quick, you know. He had an eye for goal. His dribbling was decent as well, and that's really what he was. You know, he wasn't a technician or nothing like that. He was just someone that was just deadly in front of goal, and yeah, and his pace was just there for all to see, man. So yeah, as I said, the best comparison we can say is that what Mbappe was doing, Michael Owen was doing this. Michael Owen done the same thing. He was doing the same thing. He was Mbappe before Mbappe, basically doing the same thing. So so yeah, big up. So who would you rather have in your team, Cole or Arjen Robben? You know, that's a great question. You know, for me, it's not a hard one. You know, and again, it's nothing on the other player, but for me, it's just it's pretty simple, man. So for me, Joe Cole, you know, in terms of when the era that Joe Cole came in, Joe Cole was something a bit different. You know, Joe Cole was a pure footballer. You know, he was someone that you know, in tight spaces, you know, he had a good touch. You know, his technical ability was always there, and you can clearly see from a young age that Joe Cole had the ability to go and play for a better team easily, you know. And again, Joe Cole's someone that, you know, I've met a few times, you know. I've seen him play as well, and played against him a couple of times back in the day as well. And for me, he was a top player, Joe Cole. When he went to Chelsea, although Chelsea winning titles, you know, obviously Jose Mourinho, you know, he made Chelsea, man, such a force in the Premier League, and Joe Cole was part of that, playing as a after they played a 4-3-3 and he played from the left. But for me, Joe Cole lost a lot of his talents, which is what got him noticed. You know, he was someone that, as I said, was a flair player. You know, tricks, skillful, eye for a pass. Where to Chelsea under Mourinho, he became more. I'll say he became more of a team player, and I think he became more efficient. I would say, you know, he was someone that I think a lot of the tricks and flicks was cut out of his game. He was more of a player that was more looking to create for the striker when I had Didier Drogba. And like, obviously, don't get me wrong, you know, Joe Cole did have the tricks in that still, but you can clearly see that his game was different from when he joined Chelsea, and obviously he joined Liverpool, where really he wasn't the same player. He was coming to the end, you would say, you know. But for me, has to be Arjen Robben. Arjen Robben for me, again, when he first come to the Premiership, like obviously I followed Arjen Robben's career. So Robben first made his debut, I believe, when he was, I want to say 16, 17 for Groningen. And then from Groningen, I think he went to PSV. Yeah, I think he went from Groningen to PSV, then to Chelsea, and obviously Chelsea to Real Madrid, and Real Madrid to Bayern Munich. So the career he's had is mad. And for me, with Arjen Robben, so just answering your question, Reluctant Gamer, Arjen Robben for me. Arjen for me was one of the best players of his generation, easily. You know, he was someone that people might say predictable in terms of, you know what he's going to do. He's going to be cutting in, you know, and then curling it into the top corner. and that is exactly what Iron Robin was doing, but you couldn't stop it. You know what I mean? He was just that good. And when you look at wingers now in today's football, not one of them have anything on Iron Robin, not even the best. You know, and again, he's someone that if he was in this era, you know, he'd be a Ballon d'Or contender easily. You know, all you have to look at is when Bayern Munich had the famous duo, the famous duo, sorry, of robbery, Ribéry and Robben. You know, and if anyone knows about Bayern Munich's front three, Iron Robben, Frank Ribéry, and Robert Lewandowski, that was a front three, and obviously this is when Mario Götze joined as well, which was a poor move from Götze. But yeah, Robben for me, man, was a top player, and for me, when he went to at Chelsea, he was devastating when they had Robben, Duff, and Drogba as the front three. He was devastating. When he went to Real Madrid, you know, he was playing with Robinho on the other side, and he had Van Nistelrooy. I think Raul was still there as well, but he was deadly. But I think where Robben really got everyone sitting up, noticing his ability, I think was at Bayern Munich, with Ribéry and Lewandowski as part of that front three. So yeah, for me, Robben, man, for sure. Yeah, Joe Cole was amazing, man. Robben was class, man. I think the closest player I could probably say that to Robben in this era of football now. Again, it isn't not an identical player because you don't really make players like Robben no more in this era. But I could possibly say someone like a Leroy Sané. I think Leroy Sané might be the closest thing to a Robben. And again, he's not really close to Robben, but he's the only one I can really think of off the top of my head that that done a similar thing to what Robben was doing. You know, because Robben, everyone knew what Robben was going to do, but you couldn't stop it because he was just deadly, man. So yeah, man. Yeah, he did, man. Robben played for a lot of great teams. He did. Do you think Dan Burns should be in England's starting 11? You know what? If we're basing it off form, then he should be a starter because I believe that Thomas Tuchel is going to play a three at the back. So if we're basing it off a three at the back and on form, then Dan Burn has a right to start this game against Albania tomorrow. I agree, but I think Tuchel, because I think if you're gonna, I think if England play a back four, then I think he's gonna play. He might give Miles Lewis-Skelly a debut. He could play Tino Livramento as a left back because he has been playing there lately as well. So Dan Burn could play left back as well, but has been playing centre back. So I think if he plays a four at the back, I don't think Dan Burn starts. If he plays a three at the back, Dan Burn might start. So because I think he's going to play Levi Colwill, and it's just whether Colwill plays left side of a three or in the centre of a three. So yeah, based on that, on form, Dan Burn should be starting, but I don't think he's going to start tomorrow. I think he'll be on the bench. I think he's going to play, as I mentioned. I think I mentioned it the other day. I think the team he's going to play, and this is based on the three at the back. I think he plays Colwill, left side centre back, Mark Guehi in the middle, Kyle Walker as a right side centre back, and I think he plays Reece James right wing back, Livramento left wing back, Declan Rice, and Jordan Henderson in the midfield. I think he plays Benham. 3-4-3. I don't know really. Actually, he might play. I'm trying to, because he's going to play Bellingham, but I don't think he plays Bellingham as a next to Declan Rice. If you're playing three at the back, so I think he might play. Obviously, Harry Kane's going to play, and I'm going to play two in behind Harry Kane, which for me, Morgan Rogers has to play, but I don't think Rogers will start. So I can see him playing Anthony Gordon on the left, and you're possibly looking at Phil Foden probably on the right, I would say. Again, I don't think Phil Foden should be starting because he hasn't been playing well. But I think that's what he's going to do. So, yeah, to answer your question, man, Dan Burn should be starting on form. But a lot of it's going to depend on the formation because, yeah, well, yeah. Because I don't know if he's gonna I don't know if he's gonna start Dan Burn as one of the three because he could play him left side centre back and then play Colwell in there and then play Guehi as a right side. But I think Carl Walker and Guehi both start, and obviously it's about fitting them in, and both of them will fit into a four at the back or a three, which means Dan Burn might just miss out, But we'll have to wait and see. What car have you got? A very nice one. Yeah, I got a very nice one, man. Thank you for asking. But yeah, yeah, that's what I think he's gonna do anyway. Yeah, but yeah, big up for your questions, bro. Just back on just before we wrap up. So obviously United have been interested in. There's been talk about United being interested in Felix Nmecha of Borussia Dortmund. And again, these people have got this mixed up. I think a lot of them are thinking of Lucas Nmecha. Lucas Nmecha used to be at Man City, come through Man City's youth system, and then obviously he's a German international as well. Both Nmecha brothers, and Lucas Nmecha obviously played for Wolfsburg after leaving Man City. But this is his younger brother Felix, and obviously Felix was at Wolfsburg, I think, as well. And now obviously he's at Borussia Dortmund, and obviously he was brought in as the Jude Bellingham replacement. So obviously Man United have been linked to him, but the price that's been quoted again is not really something United should be paying, especially for a 20-year-old that isn't really shining. I would say I think he might be a bit older than 20, he might be 21, I think, But yeah, there's been interest there, but it looks like United are going for physical players in that area, And if United was to go and get a Nmecha for a reduced price, and then get an Angel Gomes in or an Edison in, that would be good business. But this Nmecha story, I don't believe it. I think it's just paper talk. Yeah, paper talk, man, really, and just it's just rumors, really. I got Reluctant Gamers has got a Mercedes E-Class 19 plate Sport 4 Matic. Big up, bro. Yeah, man. Sick car, sick car. Yeah. Let's just say, man, we got the same model. Well, it's the same model, the same make. Have you got Man United season ticket? I haven't. No, I haven't. To be honest with you, I'm not really that interested in going to watch Man United play, especially with the way they're playing. Obviously, the season ticket waiting list is mad anyway, so I'm never gonna get a season ticket. And to be fair, I'm just happy watching the game I prefer watching the game in my own comfort, really. Just taking the game in, watching, looking at certain things, because I think when you go to the ground or if you're watching it with people, you can't really focus that much on what's really going on, because you're a bit distracted. So I like to just watch it from the comfort of my own home and just properly focus on the game, really. So but yeah, are them same Indians go to the Man United match? Who's the same Indians, bro? Who are you talking about? Are the same Indians go to the Man United match? I prefer watching match alone house. Yeah, same, man. As I said, man, I like watching the game on my own, really, most of the time, just so I can just focus on the game. But yeah, watching Man United at the moment is a headache, and yeah, as I said, man, it's something that I'm not really that fussed about doing, if I'm honest. So yeah, but yeah, just before we wrap, Castello Lukeba, I know the emergence of Aiden Heaven, and Aiden Heaven at £1 million is proving like a great signing. For me, I think United need to have two players in that position if they're going to play a three at the back. And I know Lukeba is going to cost a lot of money, but I think there was a stat in terms of he's actually competing with the likes of Virgil van Dijk in terms of the stats. I can't remember what stats they were. And again, I'm not really big on stats, but I'm looking at the profile of what Lukeba can offer. And again, I think having two players that can play left side centre back, two players that will be quick in the wide areas, and Lukeba's definitely got that. So I think he's a must signing. And again, if United can move on the likes of Lindelof, listen for offers for Lissandro as well. Harry Maguire, I want him to move on, but if he's a fifth choice, it's not really that much of a problem. It's just when he's starting. Mazraoui can play as one of the defenders. So if you're looking at, you've got Mazraoui, Lenny Yoro, Matthias de Ligt, Aiden Heaven now. I think if they can get rid of, obviously Lindelof will leave on a free as well. But if United can listen to offers for Lissandro and get some money in for him, and in the summer, and then getting a Lukeba, that would be a great signing. And imagine having a back three if Amorim does stay, a back three of it could be either Lukeba, De Ligt, Yoro, or you got Mazraoui, De Ligt, or Yoro, Heaven, or Lukeba can play in the middle there. So that would be a good combination. And then Maguire can step in if he's still there in the Carabao Cups, in the FA Cups, or if there's a few injuries. You know what I mean? That would be good. But again, Lukeba's going to cost a bit of money, and United probably won't have that money to even go and do that deal. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, before we wrap, just going to look at some of the comments. So yeah, big up Latin Gamer, man. So he says, bother watching Man United specifically this season. Yeah, Man United have been poor this season. Man United were poor last season, and I think this season's been even worse. Right, that's how bad it is. Because never did I think United would be down in 13th position. And they were a bit below that. But obviously the win against Leicester, a poor Leicester team, and a draw against Arsenal recently. That's 4 points from 2 games, which again is decent, to be fair. Because against Arsenal, I think you wouldn't really expect them to win that. Well, I mean, I'd expect Man United to beat most teams, to beat anyone really. But in the current form of both teams, I think you probably would have picked Arsenal. But to get a draw, which was a good result, I think, in the end. But yeah, man, I think definitely United have been a poor watch. And as I mentioned before, the next 9 games coming up is really going to show if this team has turned the corner, because those next 9 games in the league, the Leicester, them beating Leicester was the easiest running. These next 9 games, they're going to be tough. And as I said, I don't really know what United are going to turn up, because obviously got the Europa League, and they're going to be focusing their efforts on Europa League. But I think that can be a problem, because if you're going to play a changed team, because Man United are threadbare at the moment as it is anyway. But if they're going to play a changed team in the league against some of the teams that are coming up, starting with Nottingham Forest, to focus on Europa, and you don't win Europa, get knocked out by Lyon, he's going to be under so much pressure. And again, because the thing is, I can see United dropping because of the fixtures they've got. I think out of those 9 fixtures, which I'm not going to go back to again, but I think I said probably about there's 1 or 2 wins there. That's an extra 6 points to the end of the season, 1 or 2 wins, and I can see a few teams below them probably picking up a bit more points as well. So yeah, it's not plain sailing for United, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so I'll be mad. So Gamer says I'll be mad if United get Champions League. Listen, if Man United get Champions League from this season, it's gonna be mad. But stranger things have happened. Do I believe United win Europa this season? I don't think they will. You know, I think start of the season, definitely, I would have said United have to be in that final and win it. But I think from what I've seen of United, you know, and again, people are getting a bit carried away with the Leicester performance and with the Real Sociedad being down to 10 men performance. As I said, those are two games that, you know, Leicester definitely are poor. United should definitely have won that game, which they did 3-0 in the end. And the Real Sociedad game, they were poor. And again, they were down to 10 men. So even though United were winning 3-2 in aggregate, if they weren't down to 10 men, who's to say that they wouldn't have come back into the game? You know, so again, all these things need to be taken into account. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to the end of the season. So obviously the international break now, 2-week international break, and then back to business, man. So yeah, United have it all to do. These 9 games, Europa League is where it's gonna really gonna show. But yeah, guys, big up for coming on. Big up Reluctant Gamer again, man, for your comments and that, for your chat. Some great questions in there. And yeah, guys, make sure you smash that like button and make sure you subscribe to my channel at Gav Goes In. As I said, I'm only a few away from 900 again, and then obviously want to try and get to the 1K barrier. But yeah, as I said, sorry for coming on. If there's any news about Man United later on today, I'm gonna be back on later on today. If there's any news that comes up. But yeah, Reluctant Gamer, man, big up yourself again for coming on. Guys, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna catch you guys in a bit. Take it easy.